Oh,
Don't
good
know,
call. That might be the point.
right? Or this conversation has no point, just like this show.
That's a true statement. That's a true statement. What is happening?
I don't know what is happening. What is happening with you?
Nothing really. It's hot
I've been
outside.
sick. Is it hot outside? I literally have not gone outside since
Monday?
Monday. Yeah, Monday. Well, correction. I did go outside yesterday. It was so hot yesterday that my car decided that no, you don't need AC anymore.
Nice.
Right? That's gonna be a fun thing to take in probably next week and be like, yo, why did my AC suddenly just give out?
Can y'all fix this? Nah, cool. So how you feeling?
Like objectively better. Still congested, still have a cough, still just fatigued. Just driving to get groceries on, like, what was that, Wednesday, tired me out. Like, sitting and driving somewhere tired me out. It's awful.
Sounds like a lot of fun, Joe.
It's not fun at all, especially considering that this wasn't the planned sickness either. This is an unplanned sickness.
It's true.
I still have to take the other shot for the planned sickness, which I'm not doing this week, because fuck that. I'm going to do it the week after. So I'm going to get better and then get sick again.
Yeah. That's cool.
That was kind of half the worst part of this sickness, is that I couldn't actually I had planned to like buy up ramen noodles and stuff like that and be like, I'm going to be prepared for this sickness, for this planned sickness, and enjoy my food, enjoy myself, maybe pick up some ice cream and stuff, and forget all of the, not so much as diet, but like all the workout stuff. And no, man, this thing hit me, and I couldn't plan for anything, and I just didn't feel like planning for anything, and it sucked. It still sucks.
Yeah, it's never much fun.
Not at all. But how was the movie you went to? You went and saw that zombie movie,
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. Yeah.
It was awesome. You can watch it tomorrow if you're still at home.
I will not be at home. I plan on going to work tomorrow.
Oh, well, I'll see you at work tomorrow. No, it's a lot of fun. That's cool. I didn't need that toe. That's what I get for trying to be comfortable, apparently. Yeah, so for everyone listening, and maybe Joe, who don't know what this is Zack Snyder's newest movie project thing. It is available on Netflix. It was in theaters for, apparently, I didn't know this, for 1 week only, to watch on the big screen. Yeah, I know.
That's weird.
Yeah. But, whatever. It's, that's the thing. Maybe that'll, hopefully, maybe they'll release more movies like that from Netflix in theaters longer than a week, but, it was still cool. We saw it on the Cine one, so the big screen, because why not? It doesn't. It's not one of those movies I would say, oh, you missed out because you didn't see it on the big screen. There's some pretty cool stuff, but it's you're still gonna enjoy it at home. There's no way you're not. Especially your setup. I mean, you got a nice TV, nice sound system, so you're gonna be enjoying it. But people who like watching movies at home are going to enjoy it a lot, I think. It is quintessential Zack Snyder for sure. I mean, it is. It's got a lot of characters doing a lot of different things. It's got a lot of. They went. I don't want to say they tried to put a lot of heart into it. They did put a lot of heart into it, but they did enough of it to where you're only really need to be invested in a little bit because it has to do with what's going on, but it's not like one of those things where it's like overly dramatic family stuff or whatever it's in it. There's some things in it we go through, but like I think I was telling you at work the other day, the opening credits / just the beginning of the movie is a montage of things happening. So the way it starts is it shows you how the outbreak happens, and then it goes right into the super violent basically montage of where the world went since the outbreak into the beginning of the story, which is essentially this billionaire owner of a casino, after they basically essentially shut down all of Vegas due to the zombie outbreak and walled up the city. The government has basically convened, saying they're gonna drop a tactical nuke on Vegas to wipe out the zombies that are there, and anybody. And basically, there's a bunch of people who were there, like people who lived in the surrounding areas, and like the affected areas like Henderson and all those other cities like that touched the outside of Vegas. Because they're obviously they're so close to it. Because I don't know if have you been to Vegas, Joe?
Yeah, I've been there multiple times.
All right, so when you enter Vegas, if you're driving, you come up through out of nowhere into Vegas, and then there's town that goes around it, but then there's Vegas in the middle. Well, they didn't not think about this. They literally built a wall, and it went through, housing areas. So there's all these people who are not infected, but are like refugees now because they don't have homes, and they are in camps that are around the city, the now walled off city, and they're slowly being checked, monitored, make sure they're not infected, and then shipped off to other places. This all has to happen soon because they're going to drop the bomb in 4 days. So this billionaire contacts Dave Bautista's character, who is a former military and was deployed in Vegas at the time, to basically go into Vegas. It's illegal to fly into Vegas, so they have to sneak into Vegas, but it's not illegal to fly out of Vegas.
Okay.
So he has a helicopter on the roof of his hotel. He's going to pay them $50 million to break into the vault, steal $200 million that the government or insurance company has already paid off, and still be untraced $200 million that he can use. And then so Dave Bautista has to find a group of people willing to go into Vegas, and in Zack Snyder style, it is obviously a hodgepodge of not just professional military people. There's a YouTube star that basically made his name for killing zombies.
Okay.
And he wants to basically go and film this, obviously make a cool million or so, but also go film himself killing zombies in the quarantine zone. And so there's that, and then there's like this one dude played by Amari Hardwick, who for some reason likes to have a giant saw that's used cut through doors to get people out. When they're rescuing, he became familiar with that, and he used it to kill zombies, so he brings it with him. And I was like, all right. And then realized it's other uses for it too, because they're breaking into a vault, so having a giant saw could come in handy.
Right.
And there's a bunch of, I'm not going to spoil all the story stuff for you because I want you to kind of experience it and let me know what you think. But then, and then one of the billionaire guys sending in a man of his own to kind of keep an eye on everybody.
Right.
And then so basically they have to find their way into Vegas, make their way through, and then obviously they have to break into the vault, because the vault combination, the bank or the billionaire guy who owns the hotel doesn't know it, because his security chief, they said something about a security chief died there or something, and he's the one that know the thing, so they need to get a safe cracker to break into this uber safe. And there's a little bit of that in there. It's pretty cool. So there's a lot of Ocean's 11 kind of stuff going on, but also just mercenary stuff. And and it's pretty cool. And then it's funny when the billionaire goes to confront Batista's character, he's a fry cook at a shitty little restaurant, and he's flipping burgers. This massive human being is just back there flipping hamburgers, and he's got his glasses on because in the real world, Dave Bautista actually wears glasses, so they'll actually let him wear glasses in the movie, and he has glasses. And he has the little like stretchy band thing that holds him onto his face. He has that with him all the time too. It's hilarious, and you always see him like lifting up his glasses to read something. I was like, oh, that's so good. And then the big thing, if you've seen the most recent trailer that they dropped right before, like the week or before, I think, you find out that the zombies aren't just zombies; they're a special breed of zombie because there's like these smart ones and fast ones, and there's a tiger. Spoiler: there's also a horse. But there's a lot of, and I think I said this to you too at work. There's a lot of storytelling exposition done visually because Snyder's an auteur, and he likes to not just have to spoon feed you everything. He spoon feeds you the elaborate stuff, but he gives you the little things through different ways. And just I'm trying not to spoil the opening because the opening's like kind of like a really cool setup they do that sets up the rest of the movie, but it's just fun the way they do it. It's one of those things where like this is like Zack Snyder's never gonna go back to making the atypical theatrical movie ever again, I don't think. With the success of his like things like Sucker Punch was like super artistic, right? But it still fell into the, hey, this is gonna be something that can be seen on the big screen. Anybody can go see it. There's not a whole lot of like, there's not sex, there's no violence, there's no nudity. It's kind of basic stuff. Overly there's violence, but it's not like human on human blood splatter like Saw type stuff,
Right.
Zombie stuff. Because even in Army or Dawn of the Dead, obviously it was rated R because there was like humans killing humans and blah blah blah. But it was like, that's just like zombie horror rated R. This one is that same thing but ramped up to 11. You know what I mean? And so there's that, but I think like the realm of streaming possibilities, as well as just people giving him money to do whatever he wants, is going to really lend to him going and doing other things, especially since this. I was going to pull it up. Netflix, along with him and his wife Deborah and their production company, are doing other things than just this movie. There's an animated prequel about one of the characters that's actually directed and written by the actor that's in the movie.
That's cool.
Who's the safecracker in that? And it's basically kind of like the I don't know if it's solely about him, but it's like basically like about that, and then they're doing, and that one has, I want to believe that's the one that has, or no, he's doing the short one, and then there's an animated one that has Joe Manganiello in it. That's about the outbreak in Vegas and the army being there. That leads into this movie, which is kind of cool. It's like a little prequel animated thing, which should be out, I think they said, this summer. So that's pretty cool too. And that one's gonna I'm pretty sure it's gonna be bonkers. Because it's animated and they don't have the limitations of humans to worry about. But yeah, it's pretty cool. What else was there? And they basically not to spoil how it works, but basically they leave it open to do more with it. And it's pretty cool that way too. And the characters are just like, they're so bizarre, but like works in this movie in a way, and you realize like why they are who they are in the movie because of like what happened to them and all the things they're in. But like it's just like what's her name, Tig Notaro, I want to say is how you say her name. She replaces Chris D'Elia in this movie because of his troubles with society and being a good person. And I told you that I was talking about this on work. They'd already filmed all of his scenes
Right.
And so they had to go refilm scenes with her, and then they digitally put her into the film. And there's only one real scene where you can tell, and it's because of lighting. It's in...
It's a little wonky.
Yeah, she's just a different shade of light than everybody else because it's in the sun in Vegas in the quarantine zone for the first time, and they're all standing there, and you can tell her she's lit differently. It's
obviously weren't thinking of this ahead of time, so they didn't have the references for the lighting and stuff. So the guys who digitally did it just had to guess. And
I'm like I said, I saw it on the big screen, so I don't know if it's gonna be as noticeable when you're watching it at home. And there's some corners cut with animation. Not like I shouldn't say corners cut. There's some liberties used when animating the zombies when it's like a far away shot and they're running around. You can see they're not real people. They're kind of rubbery, but that's not really I don't hold that against the movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just a budgetary thing, and like we don't need a good. It's not like you can see them just kind of sliding around. They're running, but they're very rubbery. They're not very human like, even zombie human like. But there's a lot of cool story details and things that they develop in world building, I should say, in the movie that you want to see more. And I'm like, I hope they make 9 more of these movies. Because they're
deep to make,
I mean at this point the hardest part, and we've said this before in many movies, the hard part about designing and animating the zombies, that portion of it is done. You've paid people to do it. You can take that and you can move further down the line and do more with more budget. You can add to it and do different things, and they have a lot of practical zombie effects in this, and there's a lot of I'm gonna guess they probably utilize a lot of things that that were developed for this Walking Dead on TV with the digitizing of blood and things like that, because otherwise they murdered actual people. Because there's scenes where a second ago that human being on camera had a whole face, then all of a sudden their head gets kicked back and that face is no longer there, and there's a hole. Through the back you can see, or just a giant Terminator T-1000 crater head thing. Yeah. And you're like, well, that's a cool effect, or that's real, and these people murdered a bunch of people, which is awesome as well. But I think they did a really good job that way. But to my point is, I think Zack is just going to be I don't really need the big screen all the time. I can just make these things, because with his version of his cut of Justice League doing extremely well, so much so that HBO and Warner's are going through with the Flash and stuff, and Aquaman 2, I believe, is still firing away, and so they're in that, I think he's just at this point he can do whatever he wants. He's at that. I mean, he could have done that before, but now he's I think he's now. He has a taste, because this is the first time since Sucker Punch that he's doing an all-new IP, because the last 10 years or so has been steeped in other, even in his beginnings, start with Dawn of the Dead, right? Mm-hmm. That's not an IP he owns. That's George Romero's world he's working in, because it's a remake. Then he went on to do 300. That's George Miller's, or not George Miller, Frank Miller. Frank Miller's world. That's his IP. Yeah. And the crazy thing about this, so this is what was nuts. He developed the story for Army of the Dead in 2007, I believe he said. Yeah. And he was shopping around and no one wanted to bite. And I guess it's the same thing that happened with 300. After he got done with Dawn of the Dead, he's like, I want to do 300. So he had this treatment, and they went and shot test footage to show people how it's going to look, I guess, or I think that's what it was. And then studios are like, nah, we're good. And he went to, I want to say it was Warner Brothers, right? Because they're the one that did Troy.
Don't know.
I think so. I think because I was watching an interview with him, and he was like, he went there to Shop 300, and they're like, "Nah, we already got a Sand and Sandals, or Swords and Sandals movie called Troy with a little thing a little person we like called Brad Pitt. So we don't need your Sandals and Swords movie." And so he kept shopping it around, and eventually got obviously picked up many moons later. But then he went on to do Watchmen, obviously, another IP he doesn't own. And then obviously he got a little call from his, as he said, his friend Christopher Nolan about a script for Superman that him and David Goyer wrote that he wants to see if Snyder would be interested in directing. And as Snyder said, you don't really say no to Christopher Nolan,
right?
Because that's dumb.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, let's do it up, and he liked it a lot, and so they tweaked a few things, and he said, this is the guy I want to make, or want to be Superman. He talked about Henry Cavill, and then, obviously went on from there, and then, worked on Batman v Superman, worked on Justice League, obviously didn't finish Justice League, and then came back and finished it. But I just think that, like, with this new, especially how popular, because it's already getting, like, good reviews, if I'm not mistaken, not that I read them, but from what I saw, it's getting pretty positive reviews. And I think once the mass people who, one, didn't go see it in the theaters, but also are, like, kind of more like I'm going to watch it on Netflix because it's already paying for Netflix, I'm not going to go see it, whatever. But also, the as we like to call them, the normies, are going to see it, and they're like, what the fuck is this crazy bullshit? I'm going to look up the rest of his stuff. Who's this Zack Snyder guy? And then I think it's just going to be a hugely popular thing because it is just so perfectly balanced between wacky and awesome, but also, like, with a lot of heart in there. And some real good comedy moments, and then, like, a shift, like, in those scenes. It's really good. It's just, I think it was really well done. And you can see there's probably a lot they wanted to do that they probably couldn't do, and it might be because of, things with, like, Chris D'Elia and having to cut things out, or I don't know. But you could definitely tell there's more that they wanted to get in there, but they probably just couldn't. Probably for time and not so much money, because, I mean, Netflix is just dump trucks of money just backing up to his the back of his house, just dumping money in there. And he's smart about it too. And he's also he does the directing of photography in this too. He's a cinematographer in as well. And he even mentioned, like, how he was holding the camera for a lot of it. So he's like the cameraman. I was like, oh shit, like that's
really
that's how you get your vision across, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. You just do everything.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. And I really can't wait for you and the guys to see it, just so I can kind of, get your opinions on it and see how you guys think, of what you think about it, because it is, you're in the same kind of place I am with him, is like, you love Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
The movie's phenomenal. People who shit on it just shit on it because they don't understand how things work and what it actually is. Or they've never actually seen it. They just think that it's just, a bunch of sexist bullshit or whatever. But this one is, I would venture to say, just as crazy, but in a different type of crazy. Like, it's the same crazy freeway. It just happens to be a different lane of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, he's insane in the best way. When it comes to that kind of stuff, I think it's just dope. So I really can't wait for you guys to watch it, so we can talk about it again, probably just on our own. Probably, I mean, maybe not on the podcast, but just as is.
Got to get all of our opinions in there. It currently holds a 73% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and the audience score is 79%.
Yeah.
Like
I said, it's gonna be. That number's probably gonna adjust some when it hits streaming tomorrow, just because the people who are reviewing it either haven't seen it and already have their minds made up, or saw it in theaters, and it's gonna be, if you like this crazy shit, you're gonna fucking love it. If you're not into crazy shit, you're gonna be like, whatever. And it's just
how much slow-mo is used in this versus a lot of his other movies, because I know that's a lot of something that people do pick on, that he uses a whole lot of slow-mo.
Yeah. Like, so, I mean, Watchmen, he did it differently. He did it a lot. Well, Watchmen had a lot of slow-mo in it. And it was because of, he wanted to make it look like you're reading a comic book, and you want to emphasize that like the action. This movie really only has slow-mo, the montage at the beginning, and then like maybe 2 scenes, because the difference, so like when you have a human, right, throwing a punch or a kick, you emphasize it by you slow it down and then speed it up, slow it down, speed it up, whatever, right? This one, he's using it almost like Michael Bay does, where it's not emphasizing superhuman speed or anything like that. It's showing just like slow-mo action. It's not trying to tell a story with the slow-mo like he does in Watchmen or like he does in Sucker Punch, where like it's like you're showing emotion on someone's face, or you're showing ridiculous movements. Like the prison scene in Watchmen, for example, where they like speed up, slow down, and then it's like, Silk Spectre 2 kicking some dude in the face, and Night Owl 2 punching the motherfucker and flipping him and doing some Batman shit. Or I'm sorry, Night Owl stuff. In this one, it's storytelling more than it is just action. And the action scenes, I think the reason he did it this way is because the action scenes need to depict the zombies differently than they would be if you slowed them down and like, oh, bullet, blah, blah, blah. It's just fast-paced ridiculousness and like people shooting machine guns full auto to try to just dismember zombies as they're just running. So they don't slow it down at that point. They slow it down, especially in the like I said, the montage scene, opening part with the credits and like the essentially just time dilation. That's when he does the slow-mo the most. And then there's one scene, and it's I referred to it when I was talking to Paige about it. It's the Ocean's 11 scene, and if you know, and what I mean by that is it's them planning stuff, and so they show a slow-mo of all of the characters in like a semicircle just blasting away at zombies as they flood towards them. That's like it for the most part. The rest of it's super fast because the zombies are like all over the place, or they're just running and just getting mowed down. Or like I said, I want to say they refer to them as alphas, but they're jumping around and they're dodging bullets. You know what I mean? Like they're just like coming out of the way and they're just like zigzagging and stuff like that. That's all done in maybe I've only seen it once, so maybe I'm just, my brain is not thinking it is, but I think that's all there really is. The rest of it, the action's pretty much just balls to the wall speed for the most part. So to answer your question, I think this movie doesn't have as much as say like Watchmen did, or even Sucker Punch, but Sucker Punch did it because of the aesthetics, like how fucking gorgeous that movie was, especially for being low budget and like unknown for the most part. Because like those giant fucking like robots, the samurai robots and shit are just ridiculous. But there's a lot of, in this one, there's a lot of very long, not like Children of Men long scenes, but a lot of like scene, like a shot of a scene extending over. And it's not like a continuous scene, but it's like the same scene shot from different angles and things like that. But it travels. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's like basically like they don't jump to this person doing this and this person doing that. When they're on an action scene, it's the same shot, but it's a shot from the person traveling, going from one place to the other, or doing one thing, and it's just a different angle of it. Yeah, like, but it's not like one continuous shot; it's just one continuous scene. But they just like jump from one camera angle to another camera angle, so you can see the other side of the action and things like that. So there's a lot of that, and which is very much like what he did in Justice League, where like long action scenes were like, and even like Batman v Superman, like for example, the Batman warehouse scene where he flies the jet in and like he just beats the shit out of all those dudes. That kind of like long elongated action scene where like, the scene's like 10 minutes long, but it's like 14 different camera angles. It's like that a lot. It's pretty rad.
Okay.
Pretty rad.
Cool. Sounds like a good movie.
Yeah, no, it's fun. And I will watch it again when it hits the Netflix starting tomorrow. And Netflix is not one of the ones where like if they were more like Amazon, I could watch it in like an hour.
Right.
But
Amazon's tomorrow is today.
Yeah, exactly. Amazon's like it's midnight somewhere.
It is. Here it is.
Yeah, you know.
Seriously, we don't want to have to do math. It's midnight somewhere.
Yeah, it's like, hey, new episodes Fridays.
Fridays, yeah.
Even though I'm watching Invincible on Thursdays, or I'm watching The Boys on Thursdays, watching Jack Reacher, or soon to be Jack Reacher, but Jack Ryan on Wednesdays, or on Thursdays. Yeah, so I mean that kind of sucks because like I kind of wish I could watch it again tonight, but
yeah,
I guess I'll have to wait till tomorrow.
I think that happened today with Mythic Quest. I think Mythic Quest is a Friday show on Apple TV. Yeah, and it released earlier today. Tomorrow's episode released earlier, so I already watched that. God, that show was good.
Yeah, I haven't watched season 2 yet, but season 1 was so goddamn
you and Paige
good.
Haven't caught up with it yet?
No, we have to watch the special. Well, we watched the first season. We watched it before because I wanted to watch the special, and we never watched the special, so I have to still watch that. And I want to watch Ted Lasso.
Oh, Ted Lasso is so fucking good.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It's
I want to watch that too.
Jason Sudeikis in that show is so fucking good. Surprisingly, everybody in that show is really good, even though they're actors, probably all British actors. I mean, they are British actors, but I mean, like, over there, British, not over here, British.
Yeah.
If it makes any fucking sense to anybody, I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. But they're really good actors, too. It makes me wonder if how, because obviously it deals with European football, how much how well they played football before this, like were they like more or less like football players that are actors or actors that are football players type of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So there actually is actual sports in the show?
Not a whole lot, but there is, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in my brain, did you ever watch Blue Mountain State?
I did not know.
So Blue Mountain State's about a college football team. There's literally no actual football in the show. Because they so unlike Friday Night Lights, for example, they actually have football in the show. I think I've never watched it, but I think they actually have football in the show. And this one they don't actually have football. So I didn't know if I was like I don't know if it actually has any football in it, soccer in it, or if it was just like he is a coach of a soccer team, but it's mostly about his life and things like that.
So I would say somewhere between 90 to 95% of the show is off the field. Gotcha. Like you don't really see anything, but you do get the hint of like the second episode they're like doing a scrimmage, but it's not a very long scrimmage because the rest of the show happens. Towards the end, you do get some games that they're playing, but obviously they're not showing the whole entire game type thing. But at least some of the actions that they have, just the fitness level of some of the characters as well, looks very football.
Oh, okay.
It'll make sense once you watch it. I suppose so. I think so. I don't know. I'm tired.
Makes sense. No, I do want to watch it.
Brain.
Yeah, sick brain is never much fun. I do want to watch it. It's just so much shit going on. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, right. Speaking of which, I keep meaning to watch. I totally forgot about it this week, which would have been a good week to watch it. Love, Death, and Robots season 2. Should have watched it, but I started watching Castlevania new season.
Season 4.
4. God,
Yeah.
It's already been 4 seasons. Just as good as every other season. Just as bloody. I'm only 5 episodes in or something like that, and it's just so good. Just so fucking good.
It's awesome because
I can't wait to see where everything is going. Like, still at this part of the point of the show, like, I'm not really sure. They're trying to bring back Dracula, which is like every other season they've been trying to bring back Dracula. But where the overall story arc is going, I'm not 100% sure yet.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do dig me some Castlevania.
Yeah.
Did you see? I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to find the article and I can't find it now because I saw it earlier. Apparently, there was going to be a vignette, I guess you would call her, or whatever, on Love, Death, and Robots season 2 that was going to have Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Conan.
Really?
Yeah, and I guess it fell apart. I'm trying to find the article, but I was like, what?
Yeah, why?
Like,
Because I mean, not to say that I wouldn't want to see old Arnie return to a role of his, which would be pretty cool, but that's not really the idea of Love, Death, and Robots to me. It's about showcasing people's art, essentially.
Yeah.
Unknown people. You know, I don't know. It just doesn't match to what I think Love, Death, and Robots is actually supposed to be. It's an anthology series of just. This is like, you know, we found a bunch of artists, video artists and whatnot, and we just allowed them to make something, and they made it, and here it is. And, you know, it's only 10 minutes long or whatever. I don't even think they're, to my knowledge, and it's been what, a year, 2 years since the last Love, Death, and Robots?
I think 2019.
Yeah. I don't think there has been any big names attached to any of the small series, any of the episodes. So to have Arnold Schwarzenegger come in and or at least talk of doing that, it's cool, but it's just not what that show is at all. You could literally do that for something else.
Oh, so it's going to be an animated short. I found the article.
Okay.
Unfortunately, couldn't get a permission from powers that be to make it happen. Okay, so, and it was actually going to... That's pretty cool. I mean, it would have been Tim Miller, who obviously helped create Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay.
With it, was working, and there was going to be a new short about Conan the Barbarian with Schwarzenegger reprising the iconic role, obviously as a voice. Unless he's a cartoon, we just don't know about it just yet.
My God.
You know, whatever. Yeah, I guess they couldn't get the permissions for it in time. Maybe next time. I don't know. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, I can't wait to watch season 2 because season 1 was like the best, like, surprise television show I think that I've ever really watched, and I don't think I was really disappointed with any of them. They were all like cool in their own way. Obviously, I had my favorites, but it was pretty awesome. And I enjoy it, and I can't wait. That's why I was so excited for the second one because like it's just the first one is so bonkers because it's like, and I think the one I always think I go back to is like that one where like the girl's being like chased by that guy, and it's this weird like street art spray paint fucking reality, you know what I mean? And it's just so fucking weird. And then like you get to the end and it's like not the end. And I was like, what
Right.
the fuck did I just watch? And I think it's like, because we discussed this last time when it first came out. Netflix was trying this thing where it was playing the episodes out of order for certain people.
Yeah.
And I think you and I actually had the same episode order. But I think it's the first episode that played for me. And I was like, I think I texted you guys, like, bro, you have to check this out because this shit's fucking nuts. Like, I don't know what the fuck I just watched, but I enjoyed every bit of it. I also really enjoyed the monster fighting one.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like Real Steel, but with like mutant monster things instead of robots. And that was just fucking nuts. Like, that was the animation in that one. I think is the best of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard to say because a lot of them have real good fucking art in them, in animation. But that one is by far like the best animation of the whole first season. And there's some really arty ones, like that dude that turns himself into a robot and like becomes the world's biggest like pop star.
Yeah, really weird, right?
Yeah, that one was like super weird, but the art was pretty cool. But it was like, it wasn't realistic. It was very stylized and was supposed to be that way. And then, of course, the funniest one is the three robots.
Yes.
That basically are going through, and it's like it's called
history of the human race.
Yeah, and it's like some like the fall. It's basically how the humans died, and they're being like they're touring an old human settlement, which ends up being like New York or something. But then there's just cats everywhere, and I was like, the fuck is happening? And then the end of it is just fantastic, and you're like, oh,
hilarious.
Yeah.
That probably was one of my favorites, as well as the monster fighting one, and what was it, the samurai one where they're with the well, it wasn't really samurai, but it was the one of those things called the like fox things that turned into humans, and then it became like very steampunk.
That one was nuts. Yeah, dude, that one was
right?
crazy.
That one was dope.
Yeah, like in like it was like the guardian spirit or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically. Yeah,
dude, and like and made like a body to hold it like together. I was like, what the fuck is happening? It was so crazy. That one was nuts too. That one had really good animation as well.
Yeah, that one did too.
Because it was like big old like crazy shots of the city, you should say, and things like that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that were in there. There were just so many fucking crazy ones in that. I really like the Werewolf Army one. That one was cool. Just like the idea of it was pretty cool. There's so many I can't think of right now, but they were so good. And you should. I mean, if you haven't watched season one, everyone should go back and watch season one. But if not, it doesn't matter because they don't. It's not a linear. It's an anthology show, so nothing links to them together other than the fact that they're all in the same show. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
What else? Is there anything else?
Did you read that short article I sent you guys earlier about Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
I knew you would like that.
Oh my god! I was driving. We were coming back from somewhere earlier today, and I saw it, and Paige was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "I don't know. I can't see it. I'm driving." She's like, Kevin Bacon wants to, what is it? What did it say? Like, revisit the only movie he's rewatched. And I was like, it's Tremors. And she's like, what? She clicked on it. And of course, it's Tremors. And I was like, fuck yeah, because he loves that shit as much as I do, if not more than me. And I'm down. Like, he's been trying to do something with Tremors for a handful of years now. And like, it just
hasn't come together. I think it was something about the 25th anniversary or something like that. He tried to get something done, even got as far as pitching the idea to Sci-Fi.
Yep.
But they just didn't want it. And so he said maybe they'll try on the 35th anniversary or the 30th anniversary, and he'll try on the 35th anniversary. Like, he'll just keep trying because it's apparently one of his only movies that he's ever rewatched after watching for the first time.
Yep, and it's phenomenal. I love that movie.
The first movie's good. I do like the first movie.
Yeah, the first movie is if you want to watch anything, watch the first one. You don't need to go past that. If you want, you can watch the second one. You don't have to. It's not it's not as bad as like say the third one and beyond.
Right.
And even then,
that.
the third one's not even as bad as like the later ones.
But it starts to jump the shark at the third one.
Yeah, the third one
starts to leave the ramp.
Yeah, like,
and the rest of them fully left the ramp, jumped over 3 different sharks, a couple of different ass blasters, and has just kept going into fucking space.
Not yet, but soon.
But that would be that they would end up there.
Yeah, right now the newest one, they're on an island.
Yeah, you would literally have space worms.
You could just do like.
Option.
It would be amazing if they
land on the moon, and you have.
I have it.
Space tremors.
I don't know if they have to wait till the 10th one.
That's your movie there.
But we should set it on Mars. The first colony on Mars.
Space tremors on Mars.
Goes dark, and they're like, we don't know what happened, and so they send in.
And you find out that the tremors are actually from Mars.
Yeah, and that's their home world. And the reason there's no evidence of them is because nothing lives on the surface, so they just eat shit underground. Oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna write it. Let's go.
You're welcome.
Tremors. Just call it Mars or something. I don't know. I'll come up with a name. I love that shit so much.
Tremors.
I love it. I love it so much.
Space.
I think that's all the news that I saw.
Yeah, I really haven't been catching up on news, mostly because I've been playing Resident Evil 8 these past couple days, which I beat, and it's a pretty fun game. I really do. I did enjoy it. I played on casual. I'm not gonna play games on hard or really probably even normal anymore.
Yeah, fuck that nonsense.
I just want to play through story. If it's got a good story, that's why I bought the game. I literally bought a game. I haven't bought a game in, I think, since Destiny 2. Yeah, I think Destiny 2 was when the last time I actually bought a game.
Sounds about right.
And it was well worth it. $60. Yeah, it took me 3 days to get through it. So good. So good. Just so good.
Yeah, that's the kind of game though that the $60 price tag is scary because maybe it's not good. But if you look at like, and I haven't played all of 7, I only played the beginning of 7. But
7 was good too. I played 7 last week in anticipation of playing it this week, thinking that I would be planned sick, and I obviously was unplanned sick.
But it worked out.
It worked out.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where like after 7, I had more faith in spending $60 on a story-based game versus like continue. I know I'm going to go through a story and continue playing it for whatever, and obviously that's not what you do with Resident Evil. But like this one really like, and I'll probably get it eventually. This one seemed more like farther away than the other than the last one, like with the aesthetics and like the characters, and I know they're vampires or something like that. Yeah. But I was like, that's pretty cool, and it looked gorgeous. Like it just the animation was. I was like, whoa, they really. I think it looked better than 7.
It does look better than 7. 7 really. I finished 7 and had to go back and look at when it was released, which I think was 2017.
Yeah.
That still holds up today. Like that, it's based on the RE engine, the Resident Evil engine. It's gorgeous, and then carrying that over here, which I'm sure on a Series X, because I'm just running a 1X. It looks really good. So I'm sure on something that could actually pump out a higher resolution and a higher frame rate when they do support it, especially. I'm not sure if they support it right now. Will look even better. Yeah.
Not to change subjects, but I knew there was something that I wanted to. That I was like, man, we should talk about this. But I'm obviously want to talk with Mike about it. But I can talk to Joe about it too. So it looks like announced yesterday by HBO Max and Cartoon Network that they have greenlit a new animated Batman show from Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, and J.J. Abrams.
Yep.
As well as a new Superman show
Oh, I didn't know about the Superman show. I saw the Batman show.
Yeah. And it's cool because obviously, like, Matt Reeves is, waist deep in and doing the Batman right now. So there's a lot going on, but I'm like, okay, let's do this. Bruce Timm just needs to make Batman for the rest of his life. I don't care.
Right.
But yeah, the new here it is. My Adventures with Superman will be a new show on HBO Max and Cartoon Network that is going to have Jack Quaid of The Boys voicing Clark Kent, and Alice Lee of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist voicing Lois Lane, in a coming-of-age story about Clark building his secret identity and Lois growing as an investigative journalist. I can't talk, apparently. So that's pretty cool. And it's going to be... That's the third DC animated show following Harley Quinn. Obviously, if you haven't seen the Harley Quinn show, it's not for kids. But I know my Adventures with Superman is more targeted towards family friendly. But no word about Batman just yet. But it's called Batman Caped Crusader.
That's cool.
But I thought it was pretty neato. I was like, okay, yeah, no. I would like to watch that.
And have they said when it's going to release?
No, they just say for planned something or other.
Okay.
I would probably say next year of some sort.
Probably.
Because it's going to, most likely they're trying to time it along with the release of The Batman next year. And I don't know if they even connect somehow.
Yeah.
But it's from Bruce Timm.
The fact that he's working on it.
Yeah.
Has to mean that it's some sort of connection.
Yeah. With just having Matt Reeves attached to it at all just means that it's got to do something with that. And even if it's just like tells prequel stories, even though this one, I think this new one is very much prequel to Batman being Batman.
Yeah,
but,
how do you get more prequel than a prequel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I guess you could do before year one. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, no, that's all I have.
Yeah.
So, comes naturally. We are
Joe.
I'm Cody. We ain't got nobody else with us, and that's the end of the show, everybody. As usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.
Bye.